Beat the boredom.
Hi, it's James. I'm going to do another little film today, something you can all do at home. We're going to do a little bit of stone balancing, stone stacking, and just having a little bit of fun with a few pebbles. So I've got this little collection of stones here. Now, to get used to them, the first thing I'm going to suggest that you have a go at is just have a play and just put them together. Just see how high you can build a tower with them. Start with the biggest and go smaller as you go up. As you go a bit quiet, you'll start to get a bit wobbly as you go higher, so just spend some time finding where they want to sit. So just take your time over it. Every time you put one on, it'll change how they all sit together again. So just take your time and just stack them up. So that's fairly simple. I think you could quite easily have a go at that with some stones or bricks that you've got in your garden or around the house. See how you get on. In a minute we'll do something a bit more complicated. We'll start looking at the balancing stones and how they work. So you've had a little play with your stones. I hope you've done some little stacks. We're now going to look at sort of how stones all sort of balance. So if you want to come a bit closer, we'll start off quite simply. Now, I think anybody can do this. So the surface of this stone has lots of imperfections, and it's those imperfections that we're going to use. So I'm going to use that one. So it's right on top. So the nice big hole. I'm going to start with a fairly simple stone. The more you practice with simple, little connections, the easier you'll pick it up. So what I want this stone to connect with this stone in 3 points, like a triangle. Really solid shape. Now when you get your centre of gravity of this stone right through the middle of that triangle, it's going to stand up. That's sort of simple physics, it will stay there. So I can see where that hole it is. I'm going to just place it on, and before I let it go completely, I'm just going to see which way it wants to fall, and if I need to adjust it, I'll just adjust it slightly. That's really easy. Anybody can do that. Have a go at that. Once you've got used to a sort of stone like that, you can go on to probably a stone that's going to look a little bit more impressive, using the same hole, the same technique, but because this stone is a bit heavier, different shape, it'll maybe just take you a little bit longer to find it. But the process is exactly the same. So now if you run a line down the middle of that stone, the centre of gravity will go right through the connection between the two stones. In a minute, when you've had a play at that, we shall look at something a little bit more complicated. So, hopefully you've been able to practice that little simple balancing technique. We're going to move on now to something a little bit more difficult. You might want to come a bit closer so I can talk it through. Range of stones. I'm just going to see how they all sort of fit together and just try and get a nice connection to start off with. I'm just rocking it to see if it's a solid, and that isn't particularly solid, so I'm going to move that one. Let's try this one. That feels nice. Let's go for this big one. Now, the imperfection, when we looked at the big imperfection, was that there was that hole. I'm now going to look for something a lot smaller, but the process is exactly the same. But because I'm not going to be able to see it and just put it in that hole, I've got to use my fingers more and feel where that stone is going to hit those little imperfections. So I'm using more my fingertips now to feel for where those 3 points of contact are. When I first put this stone on, it'll hit 1 point of contact and it'll rock around like that. Now just by moving it slightly, eventually I'm going to hit a second point and it'll rock on an axle. And then I'm going to be feeling for that third point, which is what's going to give me that opportunity to get the centre of gravity through the middle. So let's see how we get on. Quite like this little stone. So now I'm just rocking it to see where but I can feel now it's on 2 points of contact, and I can feel where the third one is. It's there, but it's going to fall off, so I need to just adjust slightly. Now your movements are really quite small, but it's there, and because you practice on the big imperfections, you'll kind of know what you're feeling for. So if you want to take a step back, and that's it. So that's a little introduction into balancing stones. Honestly, just by practicing and playing, you will pick it up quite quickly. But have a go, see what you can create, and don't forget to share it with us. Thank you. I'll do another film soon at some point. Bye.